You've just joined listeners in more than 1,000 cities across 74 countries and territories to discover secrets of Florida real estate that should not be secrets.
Real estate agent man.
Brought to you by Slice of Florida Realty, today's episode could definitely be hashtagged True Story Guy, as Ian and Angela discuss this common practice that we just witnessed again this week.
Okay, so have you ever been in one of those really high-stakes negotiations, like maybe buying or selling a house?
Oh, yeah.
And you just get that feeling, that the other side isn't quite playing fair. Maybe they've got some trick up their sleeve.
Definitely. That feeling is, well, it's pretty common, honestly. Often because there is something going on, some kind of calculated move.
Right.
And today, we're actually going to dig into one specific buyer's strategy.
We are doing a deep dive today into something called the Florida Inspection Bluff.
Mm.
And our mission really is to unpack exactly how this thing works, what are the signs, that you should look for, and importantly, why sometimes it just completely blows up in the buyer's face.
Yeah, it can backfire spectacularly. And we've got some great source material for this titled Failed Buyer Tactic, the Florida Inspection Bluff.
Okay.
It gives a really detailed look at the strategy and, crucially, a real-world case study that shows it in action. Really brings it to life.
Perfect. So this Florida Inspection Bluff, how does it actually start? Are buyers intentionally offering more than they want to pay?
Exactly. That's the core of it. The strategy basically involves a buyer getting a property under contract, often at a higher price than they truly intend to end up paying.
Okay.
The main goal right then isn't actually buying at that price. It's simpler.
Yeah.
Just get the property off the market, control it.
Take it off the board, basically.
Pretty much.
And then once they've got it locked down, that's when the inspection period comes into play.
Yeah.
So it's not just about finding leaky pipes or whatever.
No, not entirely. The inspection report becomes, well, a tool, a bargaining chip. It gets used not just for genuine issues, but as leverage.
Leverage for what? Demanding price cuts.
Precisely. Demanding significant reductions or threatening to just walk away from the whole thing if they don't get them.
Wow.
And the real power behind this, especially in Florida, comes from a specific contract. It's called the as-is contract for sale and purchase.
The as-is contract. Okay, that sounds important. What's special about that?
It's absolutely key because it usually includes a clause, a contingency period, often called the inspection period, where the buyer can back out for any reason.
Any reason at all?
Any reason. And still get their earnest money deposit back. That's the good faith money they put down.
Right, the deposit.
Normally, you'd lose that if you just changed your mind without a valid reason tied to the contract contingencies. But this as-is contract with that broad inspection clause, it basically creates a loophole.
A big one.
Huge. A buyer could literally say, I've decided I don't like the mailbox, and still potentially get their deposit back during that period.
That is quite the safety net for a buyer, isn't it?
It really is. Gives them immense power.
So, okay, for sellers then, or maybe even other buyers who are competing, what are the signs? How can you tell if someone might be setting up this kind of bluff?
Well, what is the biggest red flags? Something we see quite often is when buyers start focusing on the age of the big ticket items.
Like what? Roof?
Yeah.
AC?
Exactly. The roof, the air conditioning units, maybe the water heater. They use the age of these things as a reason to demand concessions after the inspection.
But isn't that stuff usually known up front or easy to find out?
That's the point. These details are often readily available before you even make an offer. You know the age of the house, you can ask about the roof's age, it's often in the listing details or easy for an agent to find out.
Right.
So if a buyer gets under contract and then acts shocked or concerned about the age of a 15-year-old AC unit, it suggests it might be less of a surprise discovery and more of a planned move, a ploy.
Gotcha. Like complaining about the mileage on a used car after you agreed to buy it.
Exactly that kind of thing. The information was there all along.
Okay, that makes sense. And this is where our case study comes in, right? Because it really shows this whole dynamic playing out. Let's talk about Brad and Shelley.
Yes, Brad and Shelley. They were house hunting down in Venice, Florida, and they had a very specific wish list.
Oh, yeah. What were they after?
They needed a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom place, okay, pretty standard, but also a 2-car garage, a pool, and a privacy fenced yard. Plus, they wanted updated kitchen and baths.
Okay, that's getting specific.
And the kicker, all for $400,000 or less.
In Venice.
Right.
With a pool and a fence.
Exactly. The source material points out that combination, especially the privacy fence, because of community rules and at that price point, was, let's just say, very rare. A tough find.
So a bit of a needle in a haystack situation.
Pretty much. So they found a place, the Slice of Florida listing, made an offer. It wasn't accepted. And their agent actually told the sellers, nope, they're not improving the offer. And they moved on. They found a second choice property and got that one under contract.
Okay, so they had a deal lined up. Plan B was in motion.
Yes, but here's where it gets interesting. This is the key maneuver. Before they spent any money on inspections for that Plan B house, Brad and Shelley circled back to the original Slice of Florida house, the one they initially walked away from.
No kidding. After saying they wouldn't improve.
Yep. They renegotiated, reached an acceptable price with those sellers, and signed a contract for that house, too.
Wait, so they were under contract for 2 houses at the same time?
Simultaneously, yeah. You can imagine the sellers of house, #1, might be feeling pretty confident at this point.
I'll bet. That takes some nerve. Or, like you said, maybe a specific plan. So what happened with the inspection on the Slice of Florida house, the one they really wanted?
Well, it was incredibly fast. Remember, they had an inspection already lined up for the other house.
Oh, right.
They basically just told the inspector, hey, different address, switched it to the Slice of Florida listing. They got it inspected just 2 days after signing that second contract.
2 days. That is quick.
This is the time that I'm going to remind you to subscribe and leave a review for the Real Estate Agent Man podcast. More than ever before, there is so much more to know about buying and selling your home. That is why we provide professional coaching to Florida sellers and buyers on every episode. We want our customers to have the knowledge needed to make the best decisions possible for themselves and their families. Our real estate team personally covers Sarasota, Charlotte, and Manatee counties. That's a wide area. However, Steve also interviews agents from around the state and the entire country to find great agents for customers that are out of the area. Visit sliceofflorida.com for more information. And now, back to the podcast.
Apparently, it was quite the performance.
The performance. How so?
Well, Brad was there in person. Shelley joined on video chat. The description is they were like buzzing with excitement, talking loudly about where furniture would go. Brad was apparently even putting tape on the floor to mark out spots, visualizing everything.
Oh, really selling it.
And he even had a company, DR Aluminum, come out during the inspection to give a quote for a new pool cage.
But didn't the house not have a pool cage?
Correct. It didn't have one by design, so he's getting quotes for a major addition while the inspection is still happening. And another detail, Brad apparently made sure everyone knew he was a contractor himself.
Oh, really? Why mention that?
Well, the implication seemed to be, I can handle any small stuff myself, don't worry about minor repairs, kind of signaling they were capable and committed. It was a whole show.
Wow. Okay, so they put on this big display of, we love this house, we're definitely buying it. What happened right after the inspection?
That same night, late, the buyer's agent sends over an email. Attached. A signed release and cancellation form.
Just like that. After the whole show.
Just like that. And the email was explicit. Brad and Shelley would only proceed if the contract price was renegotiated. Otherwise, consider this our cancellation. The ultimatum.
Delivered right after they seemed totally sold. That's the bluff in action.
Here's book example. Laying the groundwork, then bam, the demand.
But this is where it gets good,
Yeah.
right? Because the sellers, they were ready.
They were absolutely ready. This is the crucial twist, the reason the bluff failed. The sellers had a fully signed backup offer already waiting in the wings.
A backup offer, already signed.
Yep, ready to go. So when they got that cancellation ultimatum from Brad and Shelley,
They didn't even need to negotiate.
nope. They just promptly signed the cancellation form Brad and Shelley sent, accepted the backup offer, and moved on. Instantly. No drama, no delay, no feeling cornered.
Wow, they called the bluff immediately.
Completely turned the tables. Their preparedness gave them all the leverage.
And there's that detail about the backup buyers.
Right.
Right. They were surprised.
Yeah, apparently the people who submitted the backup offer were a bit skeptical it would ever actually get accepted. You know how backups often just sit there?
True.
But when they got the call so quickly saying, okay, the house is yours, they became instant believers in the seller's position. It just highlighted how strong the sellers were because they had that plan B locked and loaded.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a tactic for them. It was a real strategic defense.
Exactly. It shows that the best defense isn't just knowing the other side's moves, but having your own counter strategy ready before you even need it.
So let's wrap this up. What's the big takeaway here for anyone listening? Whether you're buying, selling, or just kind of fascinated by these negotiation games.
Well, I think what we've clearly seen with this specific tactic, the Florida Inspection Bluff, is how much it relies on the buyer's ability to walk away easily, especially with that as-is contract loophole in Florida.
Right, the any reason escape clause.
Exactly. And the telltale signs are important too, like bringing up the age of major systems late in the game, stuff that was probably obvious from the start. That's a big flag. But maybe the most crucial point is how preparedness on the seller side, like having that solid backup offer, can completely neutralize the bluff. It shifts the power dynamic right back.
Yeah, understanding these strategies is just so valuable, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're a buyer, you know what's possible, maybe what lines not to cross. If you're a seller, you learn how to protect yourself. Be proactive.
Absolutely. And even if you're not actively buying or selling, it's a fascinating look at negotiation under pressure.
Definitely. It really makes you think.
There's Lido, siesta, longboat, and the rest of the keys and the island of Venice and the Gomez, Lakewood Ranch, Inglewood, Welland Park, and Northport, Osprey, Sarasota County. Your Gulf Coast paradise. Now call Steve Martin Homes for your slice of Florida. 941-894-9800. 941-9800.
Surf the web for your next Southwest Florida home at sliceofflorida.com. That's sliceofflorida.com.
With Slice of Florida Realty, everything feels right.